my goodness, Jane. Are you back in your room playing on the computer again? I remember I told you about this before. As a housewife, you can't keep neglecting your responsibilities. You must do the house chores. It doesn't look good, and Scott doesn't deserve this.
Hello, April. Actually, I'm out of the house right now. I haven't locked myself in my room again.
Oh, really?
Did you use the extra key to enter our house without asking our permission? Scott was supposed to retrieve that key from you.
He did, but I had already made an extra key before he took it back. I'm glad I did.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
But that's not the main issue. Why are you out at this time of day? It's lunchtime. Where are you going right now? Wait, don't tell me that you're cheating on my son.
No, I would never do that. I'm actually standing on the side of the road texting you. I have somewhere to be, so I have to go.
Can't believe you go out with the house being messy.
By the way, don't enter my office without permission. The door is locked, and I'd appreciate your respect for that.
Jane, who do you think you're talking to?
Excuse me, April. I need to go. Have a nice day, but please respect my privacy. The next day.
Hey, Jane. Can you spare a moment to chat with me?
Hi, April. Sure. What's up? Is everything all right?
Listen, I'll be straight to the point. You'll be staying with me from now on.
Wait, what? Why the sudden change? Living with you. Why would I agree to that?
No need to hide it, Jane. I know about your recent hospital visit. They've informed you have only a short time left to live. You don't have to keep it a secret. Why, you mean I was told I have limited time left?
Are you sure you're not confusing me with someone else?
No confusion. I heard you've got only 5 months left to live. I can't believe you married my son while knowing your time left is so short. What a mess of a situation we had such a woman in the family. It's unbelievable. You really shocked us.
April, first of all, where on earth did you get this information?
You went to the hospital yesterday, didn't you?
Now that you mention it, yes, I did. But it was just to visit one of my relatives who's currently hospitalized.
No way. I know you're lying to me. What I really want from you is to divorce my son immediately. The fact that you tricked Scott into marrying you without telling him is worse, though. I can't believe how selfish and deceitful you've been. I must make you pay for the cost of your actions, and you'll regret ever getting involved with Scott. You must spend the remaining months of your life serving me. From now on, you'll be living with me, and I want to make it clear that I won't allow you to go to the hospital, no matter how sick you are.
Huh? I can't give you an immediate answer to that. Maybe I have to discuss it with Scott for a while.
I wasn't asking, but I suppose it's better for you to agree so people don't think I forced you. You better make up your mind right now. Just say okay.
It's not that easy, Mom. Shortly after that. Hey, Scott, are you still at work? I need to tell you something. Mind if we chat for a moment?
Sure, what's going on, Jane?
I'm currently talking to your mom, and she's saying some really strange things. It's all quite confusing.
Again? What was she saying?
Honestly, I have no idea what she's talking about. It's pretty nonsensical.
What's her latest claim?
She's asserting that I have only 5 months left to live. During that time, I should repay her for the trouble she went through after I married you, and put her in a bad situation. On top of that, she wants me to live with her and serve her during my last days.
What the heck? That's absurd! Apparently, just a month ago, you won the title Super Healthy after a physical exam. But now you supposedly have only 5 months left to live? She must have lost her mind.
Seems that way. She claims she heard it from the doctor. Where did she even get that information? Me having 5 months left to live? This is ridiculous.
It's quite a mystery. Probably something got misconstrued along the way.
Yeah, most likely. It's the same issue every time. By the way, I'm pretty certain your mom entered the house without permission again. Badly. She even eavesdropped on me while I was working in my office.
You might be right.
Your mom's actions are quite unusual. It's putting me in an awkward position. What should I do right now?
Well, since you've already completed all the preparations for everything, there's not much to worry about. Let's just face the situation head on. If anything, this gives us even more justification to proceed with our plans.
You have a point. All right then. Talk to you later.
I love you.
Love you too. Immediately after that.
Hi, Jane. I haven't heard back from you yet. I need a response right now. How much longer do you think it'll take for you to reply?
I apologize for the delay in getting back to you. I was on a call with a friend.
All right. So what's your answer? I don't want to receive a no from you, you know.
My response to your last message, right? Okay. I won't go to the hospital.
Well, I'm relieved to hear that. I intend to keep you busy. I'll be making the most of this opportunity.
If it's okay with you, I'd like some time to get ready before I move.
What exactly do you need time for?
How could I move in without any extra clothes or my belongings? Do you want me to wear the same outfit every single day without changing?
Well, you do have a point.
I guess I do, don't I? Could you please allow me a week to organize and pack all my belongings? I believe I can manage to gather everything I need during that time. Oh, due to that, the house won't be cleaned for a week. It's likely to get quite dusty. Given your bad allergies, I'm concerned you'll struggle with sneezing and a runny nose due to the dust. It might be best for you to avoid coming to the house.
You're correct. I wouldn't want to trigger my allergies. Dealing with constant sneezing is always a hassle. Waiting for a week shouldn't be a problem for me. I can wait.
Okay then. I will hurry up to pack things. A week later.
Hey, Jane, where are you right now? It's been a week, and today's the appointed day. Have you completed all your packing? It's getting quite late. You must hurry up and get over here. I've saved a bunch of house chores for you to handle. A stack of trash awaits you. Not just that, but I want you to clean the tub, windows, and the hallways for me. There's so much for you to do. Oh, I've got forgotten. There's a sink full of dishes accumulated over the past 3 days that need washing. I need you to handle this promptly. But before you do that, I'll have you take care of dinner for me tonight. There's nothing left in the refrigerator. You'll need to go out and buy the ingredients for dinner. I'm in a hurry right now. I will probably get back by dinner. I'm craving a porterhouse steak topped with truffles. For a better taste, you should also make mashed potatoes and steamed asparagus. Oh my God, I can't wait to taste all these dishes. And of course, you'll be covering the expenses.
Hi, April. You seem really excited about that.
Sure, considering you only have 5 months left, it makes sense. Use all of the excess money to spoil me. You can start with this meal. Hurry up.
First of all, stop imagining a life in which I serve you in that way.
What do you mean?
We only got here this afternoon, and we're still in the process of unpacking. Despite that, I have a lot of work to tackle. To ensure I can handle everything successfully, I'm taking some time to organize my life and prepare for whatever may happen in the future. Currently, I'm on the computer getting some tasks done. By the way, we're planning to go out for dinner tonight. It's been a while since I've eaten beefsteak, so I'm quite excited.
Wait, Jane, what the hell are you saying? I don't see any of your bags around, and I haven't spotted you either. You came here around noon, right? Perhaps the news of having only 5 months left to live has shocked you a bit.
1 hour later.
Jane, please answer my phone. I tried to call you several times, but didn't get any response.
Hey, April. Is everything okay?
Oh, there you are. Where in the world are you right now? I came to pick you up because I got a feeling you weren't entirely comfortable living with me. When I arrived, your neighbor told me that you just moved out this morning.
Yes, I did, along with Scott. I remember I told you about this to you earlier. We settled into our new place around noon today.
This doesn't make any sense. You were supposed to move in with me. What are you saying? You confirmed that you understood what I said before. You agreed to live with me and not go to a hospital.
I believe there's a misunderstanding. I never said that. I agreed that I wouldn't check into a hospital, but I never agreed to live with you. Scott and I had planned to move long before our conversation. More importantly, I have no reason to go to a hospital. I'm perfectly healthy.
I'm puzzled. What about you mentioning a short life expectancy?
April, did you overhear me talking in my office when you were in our house? Is that when you heard something about having only 5 months to live?
Yes, exactly. I'm totally aware. I overheard you confirming with the doctor that you have only 5 months in your life. You two were talking loudly. I caught the entire conversation.
You're really making me laugh. So now let me tell you the truth.
The truth. What's the truth?
What you overheard was a discussion related to a script that I was reviewing.
A script? What's that about?
It's work-related and confidential, so I can't provide all the details. You do know that Scott is the film director, right? And I'm a screenwriter. You may be aware that he rents an apartment for work, too.
Yes, I suppose. He's the kind of person who struggles to concentrate on work while at home, so it makes sense. He was doing that type of thing when it came to work, even when he was single and living at my house.
Exactly. And that hasn't changed even after getting married and living with me. To support him, I've set up a dedicated office space at home specifically for work. I'm sure you were aware of this. Nevertheless, you consistently chose to show up uninvited at various times of the day, disrupting our workflow and peace.
Are you still harping on that? Can't we move past it? It's heartbreaking that you perceive it as an interruption, especially considering you recently joined my family. You hardly contribute anything.
And now you're repeating the same complaints. It's like you're stuck on a broken record.
But it's the truth, isn't it?
Your own son pursued a career as a film director, and he had a lot of stress. Yet, when he married someone in the same field, suddenly you can't comprehend the nature of that work. It's completely illogical. Can't you see how biased your perspective is?
Bias? That sounds absurd.
Yes, it was a script involving a woman told she has only 5 months left to live. After reviewing it, the next step is to edit the video on the computer, incorporating the voice actor's recording and adjusting the voice based on the scenario I crafted. And I'm the person handling that task.
Oh, really?
Because of a lack of human resources, I have to take on 2 positions, script writing and video editing. Most likely, this is what happened. You likely overheard me while I was editing the video, specifically during the part where I aligned the voices for the scenario in which the woman was told she had only 5 months to live. It's likely that you misinterpreted that snippet of conversation, believing it to be about me. This misunderstanding and situation have arisen as a result.
Are you serious?
Yes, Mom. You went too far without verifying the details, and you shouldn't have been there in the first place. In order to maintain peace in our relationship, we've decided not to live with you. There has been far too much drama.
No way. I'm your mother-in-law. You have the responsibility to serve me.
It's something that has been bothering me for a long time. Do you know why Scott didn't do his work at home when he was still single and living in your house?
Yes, it was because he didn't have the personality for it. Scott couldn't concentrate well at home, and it made him feel anxious.
You're right. He couldn't focus, but it wasn't because he got anxious. He told me it was because you would always interrupt him. That's the real reason.
Me? You're saying I'm the reason?
Yes, Mom. Regardless of what he was occupied with, you always barged into his room and started talking and interrupting him. When he was immersed in checking scenes, he needed to concentrate all his attention in one place. He couldn't afford to think about anything else, let alone engage in conversation when he was trying to focus. The constant interruptions disrupted his focus daily, making him really stressed. But you didn't know how hard your son had to go through. That's why he made the decision to rent a separate apartment specifically for work, where he could go to concentrate and actually accomplish his work. He became accustomed to working in this manner, so even though he's now married, he still maintains a separate apartment for his work.
I was just trying to help. You and Scott had recently gotten married, and I figured you might not be accustomed to the new responsibilities.
I do all the house chores. Scott just helps me when he has free time or on the weekends. And it was Scott who told me to continue my work even after we get married. You couldn't help us, but also make things even worse. You're clearly trying to take advantage of me.
No, I haven't done anything.
Whatever. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm deeply disappointed in you for interfering with our lives and workflow. I'm pleading with you, please, leave us alone. We want no further involvement with you.
Why are you pushing it this far? How could you just abandon my own son? What do both of you want me to do? Scott's father and I are already divorced. Who will I have? Is he really going to leave his mother to live alone?
As Scott told me, if you prefer, we can assist you in finding a care facility in the future or help you with the necessary paperwork.
What? I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Alternatively, you could go back to your hometown and live with Grandma and Grandpa. That's another feasible option for you. By the way, you're still at an age where you can work, so take some time to reflect on it.
Even if you put it that way, it's not that simple. How can you expect me to just find a job or move back in with Scott's grandparents?
If you have a reason to contact Scott or me, please don't do that. Have Grandpa or Grandma tell us whatever message you need to share. We don't want to hear from you. We have no intention of seeing you again.
No way. You're kidding me. Please tell me it's just a joke, Jane. Please don't do this.
Goodbye, Mom. We wish you the best of luck with everything. Initially, Scott and I had plans to relocate to a distant place. However, after the misunderstanding about the 5-month life expectancy, things took a turn. Scott became visibly upset. He looked at me with an oddly happy expression and claimed moving to a place far away from her was the right move. April seemed to be in a state of shock after we left. She couldn't truly take in what had happened. Then she moved to Scott's uncle's house. He encouraged her to return to their hometown, but she insisted on living with them. It didn't take long for them to observe April's abusive behavior toward Scott's uncle's wife, and a few days later, she was ousted from their house. It appears she is now residing alone in an apartment in the neighboring city.
Hey, Morgan. What are you doing? Come here whenever you're at. Haven't you finished making dinner yet? It's taking so long for a normal housewife. You're definitely not very good in the kitchen.
Come on, Mom. I just told you before. I'm not at home today. I have some works today. I'm so busy, to be honest. I prepared your lunch so if you're hungry you can take it out of the fridge. And you can heat it up then. It's labeled for you.
Aren't you ashamed of yourself making up stories like that? Not to mention expecting your poor mother-in-law to eat cold leftovers. You really can't do anything, right?
They're not cold leftovers, Mom. I made it for you to have for lunch and you can heat it up in the microwave. And I'm not making up stories. What am I supposedly lying about?
Morgan, I know. You're a full-time housewife leeching off my son's money. You don't need to pretend you have a job or anything. The truth must be that you're out shopping or something.
What? Mom, what makes you think that? And why would I make up such a lie in the first place? Anyway, I really do have a job. You can ask your son when you see him.
I know you so well, Morgan. Do not hide it from me. I bet you're melding off about me to your dreadful housewife friends somewhere. Really, it's just terrible. If you have so much free time, then why aren't you down at the fertility clinic?
Why are you bringing that up of all things?
Although you call yourself a full-time housewife, you go out leaving the chores unfinished, you can gossip about me. And why haven't you and Peter had any children? It must be your fault that I don't have a grandchild. Do you think you should take some responsibility and do something about it? Poor Peter.
Mom, listen. Children are blessings. So I don't need to go to a fertility clinic. If it happens, it happens. And anyway, I do really have a job. Because of the company's policy, I usually work from home these days. But there are times I need to go to the office in person too. I know I've told you this before.
My son has bought such a beautiful house for the two of you to live in. But I can see it's going to waste in your hands. Aren't you ashamed to call yourself a housewife?
I don't call myself a housewife. I told you I have a job. Besides, the house is perfectly fine.
What are you talking about? Honestly, my dear son doesn't deserve such things.
Mom, what do you mean by that?
Peter's finally able to save enough to buy a brand new house after years. But his wife isn't doing anything to maintain it, just sitting around, lazily day after day, letting the place deteriorate. You really are a parasite after all.
Did Peter actually say any of that?
What?
Did Peter tell you he'd bought the house?
Of course. My son bought the house. This house is on his name. I don't even need to ask him.
Okay, if you say so. Anyway, I'm about to go back on shift now. So don't expect any more messages from me until I get home. And don't forget about your lunch in the fridge. I made it specially for you. So I'm sure you can manage something.
What a cold-hearted woman you are. I don't know how Peter married a good-for-nothing woman like you. My poor son.
Whatever, Mom.
That's over, Morgan. You need to leave this house. Now. Stop leeching off my son.
Excuse me?
You're not going to conduct yourself like a proper wife. So I can't let you free vote off my son anymore. You parasite. So I demand that you leave this house.
What are you talking about? You demand that I leave? Why? I have been nothing but decent to you this whole time. And besides, you're the one who decided to come and move in with us in the first place. And now you're asking me to leave? Do you really think that is going to happen?
It's going to happen. I'm Peter's mother, you know. I have the right to decide who lives in our house.
Even though the house doesn't belong to either of you?
Again? Acting all high and mighty. How dare you downplay his achievements? He's worked for years to afford this place. You should show him some appreciation. This horrible attitude of yours is exactly why you're a parasite housewife. You can't have children and doesn't do housework. You have no worth in this world. No worth at all.
Mom, no, Taylor, what an old-fashioned attitude you have. I'm almost impressed that you can really say that with a straight face. You're not knowing anything about the situation.
Not content with bad-mouthing my son, so you intend to mock me as well now?
Not at all. In fact, I intend to honor your request if you so insist.
Well, you'll be leaving immediately. I feel like my luck is draining away with every second you spend in this house. So do me a favor and vacate the property as soon as possible.
Fine, Taylor. If that's how you feel, then I guess there's nothing for it. I'll be gone before you know it.
Well, it's about time. My son and I will finally be free from your burdensome presence. I've been terribly stressed out having to live in the same house with a disgusting parasite like you.
You're really crossing the line, Taylor. I've put up with you too much. This is verbal abuse.
I don't care how you feel about it. You'll be out of the house soon. My son bought the house with the money he earned. So we don't want to let parasite like you around who doesn't contribute to the house. Just leave us in peace.
Sure. I don't need to live here anymore. I'll go. You and your dear son can live together happily.
You know that, right? I'm surprised a silly woman like you can get that.
Well, I'll just sell the house then. I need the money to buy another house to live in, you know, right?
What? What do you mean? You sold the house? How dare you?
I don't want to say anymore.
Just a minute there. Explain what you meant by that. How exactly are you planning to do that?
Well, it's, in fact, my house. So if you insist that I leave, I guess that means I have no choice but to sell it. Unless you decide to leave instead. But in which case I'll probably still sell it. A beautiful house, I'm sure I can sell it pretty easily. But either way, you don't need to live with a horrible parasite like me anymore. Does that reassure you?
What? Wait a minute. What's going on? I don't get it. What are you saying? It's your house? What are you talking about? You've been talking nonsense this whole time. You must be lying to me. Don't act like this house belongs to you when Peter worked hard for years to afford it. How dare you belittle my son?
I'm not belittling anyone. I'm just telling you the truth. This house does belong to me in the legal sense.
How can that be?
I paid for it with my money. The deed is in my name.
I don't understand.
Yeah. The house you've been living in this whole time actually belongs to your cold-hearted parasite. Do you get it? Don't be so surprised. The house is my property, so if you want me to leave, you'll have to purchase it from me.
What? You say that it's not Peter's house?
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you this entire time. Oh, I forget to tell you something. That Peter hasn't gone to work for over a year. He's unemployed.
What?
Oh, it looks like he didn't tell you yet. At first, he did try to find another job. But he gave up when he couldn't find any. He hasn't been to a job interview or sent a resume out in months. He's been living off my money this entire time.
But I see him going out every morning. He also dress up well. How could that be true? I don't believe you.
Oh, it's up to you. You can ask your dear son to check my word. You know what? He just takes the car out and hangs out with his friends all the time. Maybe he wants to look like an employed man to hide from the reality. I know that, but I haven't said anything. I did believe that he would find a job some days. But never did I imagine being forced to leave out my house.
What?
I pay all the bills, allowances, everything. I also know that he steals my money to go down to the racetrack and gambles. He just sits in a bar until after dark, or he just spends the day playing video games at his girlfriend's house.
His girlfriend's? Gambling? No, you're definitely lying. You're making things up again. My son would never do any of those things.
You could believe whatever you want to believe. But it won't change the fact that what I just told you is the truth. You can ask him. The one who's been supporting you this entire time isn't him. It is me. I've been letting the both of you live in my house. I pay for all your expenses.
This can't be happening. That Peter is unemployed, that can't be right. It doesn't make any sense. If neither of you are working, then how have you been able to afford to live?
How many times do I have to tell you? I have a job and I work from home. I've been working since before Peter and I were even married. So I have some savings. But things are different now. I can't take living in the same house with the two of you and dealing with your behavior anymore. I'll be leaving this place, so I'm going to sell the house.
I could wait to ask Peter if what you're saying is true. But if it's true, where are we gonna go? We have no income, I'm already retired. How are we going to live?
I don't have any clue, and I don't even care about this. I guess you'll have to figure that out with your scumbag son and decide for yourselves.
What? How dare you call my son a scumbag? What an awful thing to say about your own husband.
Well, it's the truth. He's unemployed now. So if I divorce him, I doubt he'll be able to pay the alimony. Since we've come to this point, I've already made up my mind to divorce him. I think his girlfriend might help him out with the legal fees.
You're planning to divorce him and sell this house? Are you being serious?
I'm serious. Why would I want to keep living here while supporting my cheating husband? There's nothing in it for me. Anyway, you should make your decision soon. Whether the two of you are going to leave the house. Or whether you will stay and buy the house from me. The housing market is still going up. So I recommend you decide quickly.
How could you do this to us? You're Peter's wife. I'll admit I didn't know anything about him being unemployed. But everyone falls on hard times in life. And as his wife, it's your job to support him when things are difficult.
Don't you realize what I did? I did support him for an entire year. Actually, I put up with all your bullying and verbal abuse. I put up with his cheating and let him gamble away my money. But this is what it's all come to you. This is the last straw, to be honest.
But you can't just force us out of the house.
Why can't I?
You're not thinking things through. Consider the situation we'll be in if you do that.
But have you two ever thought about my situation?
What do you mean?
You tried to force me to leave when you thought this was Peter's house. You even didn't care where I would live. Did you think about what I would do or where I would go?
Well, you could have just gone back to live with your parents or something like that.
My parents live on the other side of the country. You didn't think about me at all. So you don't get the right to complain when I treat you the same way.
What are you trying to say?
How many times do I have to repeat myself? I'm selling the house. If you want me to leave, that means I have to sell it. Because it's my legal house. Do you understand now? I don't care where you and your scumbag son go.
Really, Morgan? How can you take such an irresponsible attitude to us? We're your family.
No, don't say that. Once the divorce is settled, you're just some other people that have nothing to do with. I'm not being irresponsible at all. Although I'm sure you turned as white as a sheep during this conversation. But I'm well past my limit. This is the action I've been driven towards. All of this is your fault. So now take what you deserve.
Please, Morgan. Please think about Peter and I a little. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm now enlightened. I beg for you forgiveness.
No, no way. I'm done. I'm done thinking about the two of you. I don't need either of you in my life anymore. No matter how you try and persuade me, I've already made up my mind.
Peter doesn't have a job right now, so how are we supposed to live? Who is going to support us?
Who knows? I guess you're gonna have to get a job. You're not old enough to receive a pension.
No, I don't want to work. I just want to enjoy my life.
Well, look who's the lazy woman. So, bye now. Never contact me again. After that, Taylor found out the truth about her son. She realized that everything I told her was true. In the end, Peter was at a loss. After the divorce, he is still jobless. He's also forced to pay alimony because he'd been cheating and abusive. There's nothing they could do to save themselves.
Are you there, Whitney? I just wanted to apologize for the delay in responding to you.
No need to apologize. I apologize for calling you at work earlier.
Yes, typically it wouldn't be a problem, but I was in the middle of a meeting when you called. Is this about Sharina?
Yes, it is correct. It's simply that I haven't been able to reach her for nearly 2 weeks. I'm just scared about what happened to her. Do you know if she's all right or if anything happened?
Sharina is fine, in my opinion. I haven't noticed anything wrong with her.
At the very least, that is reassuring to hear. But that doesn't explain why I can't manage to reach her. My messages aren't even becoming read. She used to never act like this. She'd always respond to me.
I see. Sharina, on the other hand, no longer has a cell phone.
What? How'd it end up?
Yeah, I'm worried that her broken phone will prevent her from using it. She dropped it in a pot of water by accident, and it became waterlogged. So it's not just you. She's not messaging anyone at the moment.
I had no idea she'd broken her phone.
Yes, she was being a little reckless one night while making supper, and it fell right out of her hands and into a pot of water.
I see. I still wish I could contact her. But at least I know what's going on. However, since it has already been 2 weeks, why not simply purchase a new phone?
Yes, I believe that is a good concept. We've discussed it.
So why haven't you done it yet? Sharina must be missing out on a lot if her phone isn't working, right?
But you see, Sharina has shattered her phone for the second time. We bought a new phone to replace her old one the first time approximately a month ago. However, you are aware of how expensive smartphones can be. Purchasing a replacement phone is not the easiest thing in the world.
So why didn't you say something? How about I hand over the cash so you can purchase her a new phone? No one in this day and age should be without one.
I apologize profusely. I know you have good intentions, but I can't let you do that for us.
Why not? It isn't bothering me at all. I'd be delighted to assist you.
I only wish Sharina would consider the implications of her conduct after she's already gone through 2 phones. I informed her she'd have to get a new phone on her own. Perhaps she'll be more cautious in the future as a result of this.
I guess I understand what you're trying to say to her. But surely there must be more options than doing this, right?
The problem is that she doesn't actually have any money of her own. That is why it is critical that she learns to treat her belongings with caution. At this moment, I believe that if anyone intervenes, we will soon have a 3rd smashed phone.
I am at a loss for words at this point.
Hopefully, she will learn to be more responsible with her belongings. It is not appropriate for a wife to be unconcerned about breaking items or how much money actions may cost others.
Okay, that's okay. But I suppose if I call your home phone number, I should be able to talk to her. It's just been so long since I've heard her voice that all I want to do is call my kid. I mean, I can't recall the last time I saw her.
It's been a while since we've seen each other, hasn't it? But I'm afraid we're too far apart to make frequent trips.
That's true, but I can't stop myself from wanting to see her. I mean, she is my only child. I'll always be concerned about my little baby, no matter how much I try to relax or remain calm.
I get what you mean. Even though she now lives with us, I suppose I may enable her to communicate with you. I'll let her phone you later tonight.
Okay, thank you for informing her how much I appreciate that. The next day. Are you there, Henry? What became of my daughter? Please explain what's going on.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you mean.
I just spoke with one of Sharina's former classmates. She told me she met Sharina and she looked like a skeleton.
A skeleton? What exactly do you mean by this? You're making no sense.
You said I'd be able to talk to my daughter yesterday, but it never happened. I just want to know what's going on and whether Sharina is safe.
She is, of course, fine. She's just been sick, which is why she's lost so much weight. This is also why she was unable to speak on the phone yesterday. She was feeling a little under the weather. I'm not sure who this friend you're speaking with is, but they seem to be exaggerating about everything. I think she simply does not understand how individuals change after they marry.
I see what you're saying, but Sharina's buddy said she was virtually skin and bones when she saw her. This isn't a minor weight decrease.
And believe me when I say that this so-called pal has no idea what they're on about. I assure you that everything she mentioned was exaggerated.
Please send me pics. My poor daughter has the appearance of a stick. That kind of weight change, in my opinion, is not good. You are, after all, her spouse. Are you concerned about your wife's health?
Whitney, you must comprehend something. I am a very busy person, and if Sharina becomes ill, she can go to the doctor's office on her own. I mean, I'm not her nanny, and she's a grown woman. If there was an issue, which there isn't, and she could handle it herself, she would.
But that is not right. I'm not asking you to be in charge of my daughter's medical care. I'm only stating that Sharina didn't seem to be in good shape in those images.
Can you at least speak with her and inquire how she's doing? Or at the very least, allow me to speak with her?
You simply must accept Sharina as a member of my family. Please leave us alone. You are being far too domineering and crossing far too many lines right now.
How can you say anything like that to me? Her mommy is me. I'm not just a worried bystander. I don't see how Sharina marrying you means I should never speak to her again. Simply tell me what you've done to my daughter since she moved in with you, because I am convinced that the alterations she has endured are not safe.
Okay. And what exactly are you implying? Are you trying to suggest it's my fault Sharina is the way she is?
I just mean that, as her mother, I have every right to be concerned about her health. I would never have allowed you two to marry if I had known you would have treated her this way.
What do you mean? Do you have no idea who my family is? Don't you realize what type of life we're offering your daughter by allowing her to join our family? She should work much harder for us. I mean, I've never met such a useless wife.
A useless wife? And what exactly do you mean? How can you say that to someone you're meant to love?
I'm just saying she has no idea how to cook, rarely cleans the house, and is generally useless. You should be embarrassed of yourself for raising such a useless daughter, after all.
Do not mention my daughter or how I reared her. You have no right to say Sharina is useless. She has always been a determined young lady, eager to assist with housework. I'm not sure what you're on about, but if she's not her typical bouncy self, it's because she's upset about something.
No, nothing silly like that. The truth is that you simply failed to nurture Sharina properly, and she is now incapable of caring for me or my family. Make no more excuses for yourself or her. I'll also ask you to cease attempting to contact Sharina. She's ours forever. We'll have to start from scratch with her training.
Train her? Are you certain? But does it mean I'm correct? You're hurting my precious little kid. Please tell me what you did to her. This is not something you can get away with. Please return my kid to me right away.
I'm afraid your daughter won't see anybody else until her training is through and she understands how to be a good wife.
This is not a video game, Henry. I'm serious. Mark my words. I'll get her away from you.
I believe you should also be aware that I am not joking. We now have your daughter to do whatever we want with. You should probably forget about her. When the priest asked if there were any objections, you had your chance. But it's far too late for you to intervene.
You're the worst. Just horrible. I would never have allowed my poor little girl marry you if I had known what a terrible guy you were.
Don't worry. We'll make sure your poor little daughter has all she needs to become a proper woman, capable of caring for her family. You should be thankful that we are doing our job for you.
You can't possibly be serious. Do you really think I'd be grateful for any of this? You're a maniac. I'll get her back. I'll demonstrate it to you. 3 days later.
You did take her, didn't you? Sharina was taken from my home by you. Tell me how you accomplished it. I need to know right now.
I will never again provide my daughter to you or your family.
That, I'm afraid, will not suffice. Please return Sharina to us straight away, okay? This is something I'm serious about.
The answer is no. Do you understand that you will not be getting Sharina back as long as I am able?
But we weren't done with her training yet. We still have a lot of things to teach her. Do you know how much money and effort we've already invested in her? You wouldn't be acting like this if you did, and you'd know to give her back to us.
I'm afraid you won't see your wife again. Nobody will ever see her again.
What's that? What does that even mean? What occurred to her? What exactly does this mean?
That is, you no longer have a woman to give back to you. You never once treated her like a human being, let alone your wife. You've never had a wife to begin with.
What exactly are you talking about? Sharina is my wife, and nothing you say will change that. Do you understand? Even legally, you can argue that she is not my wife. What foolish game are you attempting to play?
It doesn't really matter what you say because she'll get divorced and so will you. Sharina is presently undergoing treatment in the hospital for malnutrition or dehydration. I spoke with a lawyer about the best way to handle this scenario, and he told me that there was only one way to get Sharina out of this.
What do you mean? And why are you speaking with attorneys? What is going on?
I'm going to have my daughter divorce you and sue you for the harm she suffered during her marriage. To you.
Just one more second. You may easily break into my house, steal my wife, and then threaten to sue me. I have more than enough grounds to sue you.
Is that true? Do you have any proof that I broke into your home or did anything illegal?
Sharina had been chained to her chair, so how could she have escaped if no one helped her? She could not have gotten out of there on her own.
You realize you just admitted to domestic violence, right? You basically admitted to kidnapping your own wife. You even mentioned tying her up.
But wait, that's not what I intended. My words have been twisted by you.
I'm sorry, but I don't have time to chat to you anymore. I need to go to Sharina's doctor to see how she's doing. You might also be interested to know that we have her diary, which has more than enough evidence. Against you?
What do you mean you found her diary? I had no idea she had one.
She has a diary when she was a child, and in her most recent diary, she detailed all of the terrible things you forced her to do.
This is unbelievable. You mean she refused to clean the house but found time to keep a journal? So, if you believe you can sue me, know that I will fight you tooth and nail. I'm not going to let my wife think she can outsmart me. My family founded this country, and it will not be torn down by some insignificant individual.
Do you believe anyone cares about who your family is? Nobody cares if your ancestor did anything noteworthy 100 years ago.
What did you just say? Do you know who you're speaking with right now? You have the audacity to even speak to me in that manner.
Enough of that. Let's talk about Sharina's phone. You claimed she had broken her phone, but you really stole it from her, didn't you? To be honest, I believe you are the one who needs to learn how to be a good husband.
You cannot speak to me in that manner. I'll show you how to respect me and get my wife back if it's the last thing I do.
5 days later.
What actions did you take? What's going on? I want to know why. I know you did it, so tell me how.
Henry, I'm sure I have no idea what you're on about.
My mother recently passed out from cardiac problems. What did you do to her? And why is she acting so strangely?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I can assure you that I had nothing to do with it. Are you certain this wasn't merely a long time coming? I mean, I know how active your mother was in attempting to train my poor little kid.
Don't play stupid with me by pretending you don't understand what I'm saying. Things have been strange around us since you took Sharina. I'm sure it's all your fault.
And what gives you that impression? What has been strange since my daughter left?
Since then, all of our neighbors have stopped talking to us and have treated us horribly. The local paperboy has stopped delivering to us. We are being stared at when we go outdoors, and people are clearly talking about us. Someone even yelled at us to get out of town as soon as possible. I have no idea what's going on around here, but I'm sure you have something to do with it. Don't. You?
All of your neighbors appear to despise you. Are you sure that isn't it? Of course it isn't.
No way. How is that possible? Why would it even be that?
Well, I wouldn't be so sure. After all, it sounds just like that from what you're saying. Perhaps this is what happens when you treat everyone as if they are beneath you. I mean, if you're constantly looking down upon others, they'll get tired of it and start to push back sooner or later. This all seems very natural to me.
But it would be one thing if they simply disliked us, but this is on a whole other level. They're treating us as if we're all horrible criminals or something. I'm not sure why they all appear to genuinely dislike us. Something must have occurred.
If your neighbors' feelings towards you have altered, I suppose you should go talk to them about it, despite the fact that some of them assisted me in rescuing my daughter from you.
So you mean you broke into my residence with the help of my neighbor?
I simply expressed my concern about Sharina, and some of them volunteered to assist. That's probably where the rumor started.
So, what did you say to them? I'm dying to find out what you told my neighbors.
Oh, don't be concerned. I simply told them the truth. I told them about how you wouldn't allow her walk outdoors and how you treated her as if she were a servant.
That, however, is a falsehood. Because you lied about my family, now everyone despises us. Everyone treats us as if we are sick criminals who have just locked up young women in our home. You've made everyone despise us.
Well, I find that most rumors have some truth to them. Some of Sharina's neighbors had noticed how thin she had become. That, I believe, did not assist to slow down the rumor mill. I'm sure the majority of your neighbors now despise you and your family.
This isn't a game. I'm starting to panic. I mean, it's as if we're witches being pursued by a horde. My mother is terrified and refuses to leave the house. And now she's gone, having died of a heart attack as a result of the stress.
Oh, God, that's awful. That hardly sounds half as horrible as what you did to Sharina. And because all of your neighbors are aware of this, I'm sure they're treating you accordingly. I can't say I blame them. If anything, I'm relieved that they've all turned on you after learning the truth.
This is not something you can get away with. You've ruined my family's reputation. Someone even threw a rock through our house's glass.
Did they really go that far? If that happens, small-town life must be quite unique.
But it is entirely your fault. Your falsehoods enraged everyone. I swear to you, I'll make you regret it. You are not going to get away with this.
I'm afraid you and your family don't have the ability to stop this right now. You have nothing but your pedigree and not even that much money.
My family helped to build this town. These jerks have no idea who they're up against. My family is not stuck in this place with them. They are stuck here with us.
I asked one of her neighbors if that was true when he stated your family owned a store more than a century ago.
He claimed that your family is the last of the town's original settlers and that they possess one of the worst pieces of land in town with little influence. You told me that everyone else has moved out.
That still implies we've been here the longest, which means everyone should appreciate us.
Are you referring to your large run-down shack of a house? When I went to get my daughter, I couldn't envision that house selling for much. The foundation is sinking, and the entire structure appears to be a significant health concern. To be honest, I'd be terrified to live there. However, if the lawsuit is resolved, you may no longer have a roof over your head.
Oh, I've got money. That is not an issue.
Oh, you do? That's great to hear. Now I won't feel so bad if my daughter sues you for all you own.
Wait a moment. Are you seriously planning to sue me for that much money?
I honestly believe you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Do you comprehend what you're going to have after we're done with you? You'll be forced to leave your dingy little abode and will be responsible for your parents on your own.
Please don't. Simply put a stop to it.
Stop what? What do you mean? Use your words like a man.
Please don't sue us. I mean, I'm not going to be able to care for both of my parents on my own. And if we flee out of town, we'll be left with nothing. How are we supposed to live on?
Don't worry, if you need money, I'm sure you'll be able to get some big loans from banks.
Are you serious? We'll have to go into debt?
After how you handled my poor Sharina, I believe that is the least amount of punishment you deserved. After that, in the end, Henry and his family owed Sharina approximately $500,000 for their mistreatment of her. That effectively depleted their finances, and they eventually decided to leave town. They expected to recoup some of their losses by selling their mansion, but no one wanted to touch that crumbling mess. They had to borrow a lot of money to move away, and even then, they could only afford a small apartment. After the divorce, my daughter began to revert to her former personality and heal from her stay at Henry's. She's doing everything she can to put that horrific incident behind her and begin a new life.
Ivan, when will you be home today?
I'll be back home at 10 p.m. as usual. Why? You never ask me about that. What's going on?
Honestly, I've been undergoing fertility treatments at the clinic for a while.
Oh, fertility treatments. Why didn't you inform me about this earlier?
I'm sorry. I kept it secretly because your mother told me not to share it with you.
My mom. Why?
She always emphasizes that women are the primary cause of most infertility, so there's no need to inform your man about it. She repeats this almost every day.
Oh, I see. She's correct. It has nothing to do with men. I can't do anything about your treatments.
That's totally not true. Anyway, the doctor informed me that there's a good chance today.
Good chance of what?
Well, a good chance of a positive outcome, for a successful pregnancy. You got it, didn't you?
Yes. It feels a bit strange doing it because the doctor suggested it. Actually, I don't like it.
I know.
By the way, I don't feel like returning home today. I will have a couple of drinks with my friends, okay?
Wait, what? I need to get pregnant as soon as possible.
I understand that you like having a child, but they're considered gifts from God. I don't care if today is your great opportunity. I don't like being told when I should do things.
I know, I understand, but every day for the past few months, your mother keeps bothering me. She kept telling me such things as, I want to see my grandchild. If you don't have a child this year, I will arrange for you to be divorced from my son and such.
I see.
Ivan, can you discuss this with your mom?
Huh? Come again?
Tell her what you told me. That children are gifts from God stuff. Your mother might listen to you.
I'm skeptical about that.
Please. I've been suffering a lot of distress. I desire to have children. but your mother is stressing me out over it.
Wait, are you attributing your difficulty getting pregnant to my mom?
Not exactly. But it's the fact that she does cause me stress. Sorry, that was a poor choice of words.
You're the one who's facing fertility challenges, right? Why should I help you in any way?
Why do you assume I'm the one to blame? I undergone tests, and there was nothing wrong with me.
Then why aren't you able to get pregnant? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Either the timing wasn't right, or there might be an issue with your testicles, I think. That's why I told you to go to the clinic with me.
So now you're blaming me. My mother birthed and raised all 4 of her children. But your parents only had you, isn't that correct?
Yeah, but what does that relate to infertility?
It means my parents had the ability to have 4 children, which logically makes me their son very much fertile.
Well, yeah, it might be genetic, but that's not the sole reason. Eating habits and lifestyle are also factors. And besides, my mom wasn't infertile. So that has nothing to do with the situation.
It's enough with the rambling. If you want to shut up my mom, do it yourself. My work schedule has been hectic recently. I don't have time to talk to you about such little things. Talk to you later.
Wait a minute. Hey, Ivan, respond to my messages. A few weeks later, Ivan, I have a favor to ask.
What favor? I'm busy at work.
Sorry for bothering you.
You have it easy, staying home and doing nothing all day. It must be nice being a housewife.
It isn't what it seems, okay? Never mind. Can you accompany me to the clinic just this once?
Why should I go with you?
The doctor still can't identify any problem with me, and he requested the husband to come in.
He's a quack for sure. What does he know? There's nothing wrong with me.
We can't be sure until we do some tests. Your mother wants this too.
Oh, shut up. Nothing you say will convince me to go. Moreover, I don't want kids.
Oh, really? Then tell your mother that...
Why me? Both you and she want it, right? You're both adults. Work it out with each other.
I did. I've attempted to talk to her, but she refused to listen. All she does is blame all the faults on me. Perhaps she'll listen to her son. If I tell her, she thinks I'm rebelling against her wishes.
What the heck? I don't want to get involved in complicated situations. I'll be staying out late again today, just so you know.
Wait, again? You're often out these days. Ivan, come on. Few days later. Ivan, I can't tolerate your mother any longer.
What are you referring to?
How long will she stay at our house? Seems like too long, doesn't it?
I suppose she will stay here for a long time.
Why?
She sold her house and moved all the stuff to our house.
She did what? No way, Ivan.
You keep exaggerating about her, but it's for our own benefit that she's staying with us. Are you trying to kick her out?
No, but...
If you did your wifely duties, we wouldn't need her help now, would we?
Sorry. My duties? You should said that to your mother. She watches TV all day on a couch, ordering me to do housework. I can't work in my room because of her.
That's because I asked her to.
What? You really did it?
I discussed with Mom that you never do the household chores, and then she told me that she'll make you do it.
What? What?
She was a housewife for half of her life. There's a lot you can learn from her.
No, I handle the housework. Why won't you believe me?
Of course, I would trust my mother over you.
Rude.
How so? I'm simply telling the truth.
Fine, then I'll have a say in this. I'm considering getting a divorce from you.
What, from me?
Every day, with both of you causing me distress, I can't continue living like this. I'm currently unable to get work done during the day, so I have to do it late at night.
That's not a sufficient reason. You're overreacting.
No, Ivan. I think that I've made my decision. Think of what both of you have said and done to me in the past. A few weeks later, Ivan, where are you right now? Are you staying with your mother? The house is empty.
Right now? We were hungry, so we went to grab a bite at a nearby cafe.
So you left me behind again?
Mom says she's tired of putting up with strangers, so she needs a break.
Really? She said that, didn't she? How unbelievable.
Are you making fun of my mother?
I mean, She's the one who's been bothering me every single day, and with you, she's behaving as a good mother. There's no reason for me to stay with you and your mom. Prepare for our divorce procedure.
What? Divorce?
Don't act so surprised. We mentioned about this before.
Certainly we did, but I thought you were joking.
I've been entirely serious, and all this time you thought I was joking. Wow!
I mean, I thought it was just a minor threat.
But seriously, I can't endure this life anymore. I informed both of you about the decision to get a divorce and wanted to see how you reacted. During these past few weeks, your and your mom's behaviors haven't changed, if not worse than before. So, that's it. We are getting divorced.
Carol, I'm sorry, truly. I really thought you were joking.
I wouldn't say I want to get divorced as a joke. I understand that you couldn't read my emotions over texts, but come on.
I'm really sorry, Carol. You always discuss these things via text, so I don't know. I thought you were just mad at me for a while, like usual. You've been acting normally with Mom, too.
So, all this time you thought I was not serious?
Oh, no.
I wanted to talk in person, but your mother was always following you around like a puppy. I couldn't exactly express my thoughts verbally with her presence.
Yeah, I guess. I've been busy with work recently. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you.
I never expected there would be a day you apologized to me. You were kind of a mama's boy since she moved in with us.
Who, me? No way.
Oh, but you were, though. You always ask your mother to decide everything.
My bad, then. So what about the divorce? I really hope you give me another chance.
What? There's no more chance, Ivan?
Yeah, now that I finally know how you feel, I'll talk to my mom really well. So you won't have to go through anything bad anymore.
You swear.
Sure, trust me on this. What can I do to prove myself?
Sign our divorce papers.
Sign what? I thought you were giving me another chance.
I am. I'll keep the papers close by, just in case. If such a situation happens again, I'll submit the papers. Until then, I'll temporarily suspend the divorce proceedings.
Got it?
2 weeks later. Ivan, I've just returned to the house. Where are you?
You just got back? Were you out somewhere?
Oh, I remember I told you that. I would be out late because I had a party at my office.
Oh, right. I can't remember the party part. But yes, you did mention being out late. Anyway, we decided to move out today.
Move out?
Yeah, I mean, we will move to our new house. We got a pretty good deal on the new condo built in town. My girlfriend got pregnant, and the timing seemed right. I also signed the divorce paper, as you wish.
Girlfriend? Pregnant? What are you talking about?
Because you were unable to get pregnant, you are now worthless. I was always correct. It was you who lacked infertility. My girlfriend got pregnant instantly.
Wait. Were you having an affair?
Not an affair. I was looking for a girl who would have my child.
Oh, God, you can't be serious. How long have you been cheating on me?
Since you brought up the divorce nonsense. So, a few weeks.
2 weeks ago, to be exact. When did you find out she was pregnant?
2 days ago.
Oh, really? And then you will move to your new condominium with her, won't you?
Yeah, my mom will stay with us too.
Okay, then. I'll have my lawyer contact you as soon as we finalize the legal matters.
Your lawyer? You already had the divorce papers. What else is required?
Well, I need to get back my belongings. You can't understand, you idiot.
What the hell are you saying?
You're dumb. No need to get so angry. You might frighten your girlfriend and her child away. I'll be in touch soon. Wishing you a pleasant life with your girlfriend. A week later, Ivan, your mother visited my parents' house today. She apologized and wanted me to return home. What happened? I never expected her to apologize.
Oh my goodness, Carol! You're finally here? Why were you ignoring my messages?
Did you text me? I turned off the message notifications because it was bothersome.
Oh, okay. This week has been incredibly hectic.
It certainly sounds like it. Your mom is mentioning your affair and money?
Yeah. My girlfriend's fiancé showed up at her house.
You mean Dave?
What? You knew him?
Yes. The day after you moved out, her fiancé was looking for her.
Wait, what?
He had hired a private investigator to follow her for a while because he was suspicious about your guys' relationship. And then he contacted me.
You're kidding me, right?
He didn't mind his wife seeing someone as long as she eventually returned home to him. But unexpectedly, she called off the engagement, so I agreed to help him find her.
You told him where we live, didn't you?
Well, I didn't know the details. But there's only one new condo complex in town. Then I suggested that it might be your residence. He agreed to help me, so I couldn't refuse his assistance. Even if I hadn't told him, the investigator would have uncovered it. So that's probably how he figured out his fiancée.
Oh, man.
And don't tell me your chaotic story is over.
Oh, hell no. The baby's father. It wasn't mine or her fiancé's.
Wait, seriously? When you broke the news about her pregnancy, I was certain it wasn't yours. But I never imagined that it wasn't her fiancé's either.
How did you know that it wasn't mine?
Yeah, we can't have children, but I'm not infertile. Perhaps the problem lies with you.
Damn it. I thought she was the only one for me.
Why did she choose you? Her fiancé seems like a better option for her.
Because I'm rich.
You? Rich? When you barely make $1,000 a month. So that's why the money disappeared from our joint account. It was spent on her. And she mistook you for being rich? How ridiculous.
So it seems.
I feel sorry for her. The initial amount of money was mine. I worked hard to save this amount before our marriage.
She wasn't the only one that misunderstood. Even my mom assumed that I earned more.
Well, obviously. Your mother always thought I could only stay at home and be a housewife.
It was, I had to protect my self-esteem. Reflecting on it now, I'm jealous of your financial standing.
What on earth are you thinking? I also think that your mother spent your income extravagantly after you moved out, right? She does have quite lavish tastes.
You anticipated this outcome, didn't you?
Of course I knew. Your mother constantly pressured me to make various purchases. I wondered where she acquired such expensive hobbies, as if money rained down from the sky.
I always covered our dining expenses from the joint account, so she must have assumed.
In fact, I contributed more because I had extra cash compared to you.
Sure.
The next day...
Where are you staying now? My mom said you weren't at the old place.
Oh, that's why she came to my parents' house.
Yeah, and my mom's using up my credit card, so I have no money left. Can you lend me some money?
Absolutely not. I don't want to get involved with you.
Are you abandoning us? We're a family. We haven't divorced yet.
Are you out of your mind? Your mother treated me like a stranger. I was lonely for the entire time we lived together. Don't you still understand why we got divorced?
Oh, man.
We legally became strangers a week ago. Should I even consider assisting strangers, especially those who made my life painful? Please leave me alone. Get it? By the way, I'm also charging both of you for alimony. My lawyer will contact you soon.
Wait, what? Carol.
Following that. As for Ivan, after figuring out that his girlfriend's baby was not his, he dumped her. With evidence of his affairs, I demanded $50,000 in compensation from Ivan. Ivan and his mom visited my parents' house regularly, attempting to ask me for help. They just stopped bothering me and my parents when the police called upon them for trespassing. I have no idea about Ivan's life right now. The money is consistently transferred to me each month, so at least he's alive. As for me, I moved to a high-end residence, and now I'm happily living in my new place.
Make a point of stopping by before you go to bed tonight. I need assistance cleaning my bathrooms because I cannot inhale bleach at this age. In addition, the guest plates and silverware require polishing.
Hello, Mrs. Ella. I believe there was some type of misunderstanding. David and I have just checked out of our hotel and are on our way to the airport to begin our honeymoon. We are unable to come to your home to clean your bathroom. Is this some sort of joke? Ella, are you attempting to haze us?
Oh, I never make jokes. Never, ever undercut me like that again. It does not appeal to me. As a family elder, I'm providing you instructions. All you have to do is say yes, ma'am, and come do what I say. Nowadays, there are a lot of young people. They are devoid of common sense. As the newest member of this family, I would have preferred that you take the initiative to find something to do right away. But I can let it go this time. I understand you're still on a high from your wedding. Now that you're my daughter-in-law, you're as good as my personal assistant. Don't worry about your honeymoon. I told David to cancel the flight, so stop being so foolish and come here right away.
What do you mean? You forced David to cancel our honeymoon? Why would you do such a thing? Why would David do such a thing? It wasn't just his honeymoon, it was ours as well. I even covered half of the costs. He can make the decision to cancel it on his own? Why wouldn't he talk to me first?
Obviously, because he values my wishes over yours. After all, I am his mother, you know. I carried him for 9 months, gave birth to him, and reared him for the rest of his life. He's also always been a good mama's son. He has never, ever said no to me. All I had to say to him was that I was sorry and upset to watch him go on a trip to the Bahamas when I had never even left the country. David, my lovely child, called your airline and canceled your tickets right away. He even promised to take me somewhere much nicer in the near future. He didn't tell you about it, did he? It doesn't matter. I'll be expecting you in the next 3 hours.
This is unbelievable. I have no idea what to say. I'm completely at a loss for words. I can't believe I bought into David's Messiahism. I would never have said yes to his proposal if I had realized he was such a mama's boy. Not to mention a first date. He makes such a big deal about how much he despises mama's boys. He used to yell at his pals whenever their mothers were mentioned. Was it all a ruse? I had a feeling something was wrong. At times, he seemed to go too far. You two are the best showman mother-son duo, aren't you? What happened to my wonderful, warm, and welcome new mother-in-law, whom I had grown to love and appreciate? She appears to have vanished as soon as the wedding vows were read.
What else can I say? I needed help around the house, and who better to ask than my daughter-in-law? You were a perfect target. I've never seen such low-hanging fruit. Especially when you're as eager to satisfy everyone you meet for the first time as you are. It was basically a no-brainer. Would you have married David if I had showed my true colors from the start? Obviously not. You wouldn't have gone on a date, as you stated. Please don't take it personally, Zelda. Everything is for the sake of this family. Plus, if you're lucky enough to have a boy, like me, you'll be richly rewarded later in life when you become a mother-in-law. Isn't that something to be excited about? It's all part of the female life cycle. You are powerless to stop it. So come on over so I can start teaching you all you need to know about being a good housewife from the ground up.
Housewife classes? Is this the 1940s? I can handle things around the house just well, thank you. I don't see why I should need your help. Is your residence unique in comparison to others? Is your ship an alien craft?
Hush. You don't know the first thing about how this family operates. Each family has its own set of traditions, recipes, and regulations. I'm sure your mother had her own recipe for mashed potatoes, didn't she? Time to learn how we prepare potatoes. Now that you're a member of our family, it's your job to carry on our traditions. I'm afraid you have a long way to go.
I have eaten your potatoes. They're a little lumpy for my liking. And if you're such a stickler for family customs, why would you reveal them to an outsider like me? Why don't you schedule cooking for your moms and your dear David? I simply don't agree with the traditional way of life in which the woman is expected to perform all of the housekeeping. Those days are long gone, Ella. I went to college, like your son, and I have a job, like your son. I'm not going to come home from a long day at work to cook, clean, and coddle a guy who refuses to do anything.
Don't tell me you're going to keep your job. That is absurd. You are now a married woman. Can't you go out and work like a man? This is completely inappropriate. Your responsibilities are now at home. Be a nice wife to your spouse by bearing as many children as possible. Besides, your work doesn't pay as much as David's. What exactly are you, a secretary? I'm sure you prepare coffee and smile at coworkers. That is not work. You can always do that for me and your father-in-law right here.
I actually earn significantly more than David. I have 2 degrees from a university that is far superior to Kevin's alma mater. I'm offended by your assumption about my employment. Please do not dismiss my hard-earned position in life. I put forth a lot of effort to get to where I am now.
That's all there is to it for the time being. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm your in-law's mom. You must obey me. Hold on to every word as though it were the gospel. Did your parents teach you anything worthwhile? Stop yapping about quitting your job and coming over to my house to sit so I can teach you your place. Or else.
Thank you, but no. I'll decline. That appears to be the worst deal ever.
What? Have you gone insane? Do you not recognize the gravity of the situation? You're getting on my nerves, young missy. If you don't want to be divorced the day after your wedding, you should follow my advice.
That doesn't seem so bad now, does it? Actually, it doesn't sound too bad.
Nonsense. You have no idea what you're talking about. This is not the time to bluff. I'm not foolish, and I'm not going to fall for it. When a woman divorces, her value plummets. She's damaged beyond repair. Men truly mature like great wines. Their worth increases when they develop their own style, earn more money, amass more assets, and so on. But it's like driving a brand new automobile off the lot, ladies. When it hits the ground, it loses more than half of its value. Do you really have no concept of how the world works? Thank heavens I'm here to help you get through it all. You're quite fortunate.
I believe you are unaware of how things function. At least in this universe, in this era. For Christ's sake, it's 2022. Yes, David and I did have a wedding ceremony and celebration. Sure, we had almost 200 people there to witness our vows. But we haven't yet submitted any paperwork to City Hall. That was our plan after our honeymoon. I didn't want to cope with the tension and lines until I had done something fun and relaxed beforehand. So David and I are not legally married. Legally, we're just 2 guys who had a costly party.
What? Before the wedding, David told me you two were heading to City Hall to make it official. I'm pretty sure it was last week.
That's exactly what we were planning to do the other day. However, something urgent came up at my dreadful job, and I had to make a last-minute business trip. As a result, we had to postpone it. What a stroke of good fortune! I'm already angry about having to end things with David so soon after a large, expensive wedding. But to think I was this close to getting divorced? How wonderful. I'm sure I have some guardian angels watching over me.
That is ridiculous. Why would you not inform me? Why would David not tell me that? Look at that. I believe I was a little forceful. I may have been too anxious to welcome you into our family since my remarks came across as harsh. I really apologize. It was never my aim to frighten you or treat you as a slave. No, I would never do something like that. I would never consider it. I just feel this huge responsibility to prepare you to be the most amazing daughter-in-law ever. We went in the wrong direction. That's the end of it. Please pretend this conversation never took place. Is it necessary to inform David? He most likely planned a different itinerary for your honeymoon. He would have had a backup plan. So, shall we forgive and forget?
No, I can't simply forget. Well, I prefer you this way, tail between your legs. I can't pretend nothing happened today. That would be the dumbest thing to do. If I've learned anything in my short 30 years, it's that once a cheater, always a cheater. I guess you didn't cheat in this situation. But you understand what I mean. Garbage is just garbage. It's pointless to try to repair something that has already been abandoned.
Are you comparing me to a garbage can? I'm your mother-in-law, after all.
In theory, you are nothing to me. Remember? David and I do not have a legal marriage. So we're essentially nothing more than an old lady who threatened me and forced me to do hard labor. It's truly amusing. Who would do that? I'll have someone come to my apartment and pick up my belongings. Maybe I'll find someone to sublet my place so I don't have to deal with you anymore. Because you seem to make all of David's decisions, you can arrange to get his belongings out of there yourself. I'm going to get myself out of this situation.
Wait a minute, Zelda! Allow me to explain.
I had to call it quits with my would-be spouse the day after my big wedding. Of course, thanks to an emergency business trip and something called an annulment, I was able to avoid being labeled a divorce. David begged me to take him back, claiming it was all a ridiculous misunderstanding between his mother and me. Not in a million years, I said emphatically. So there I was, doing my utmost to get my life and job back on track, when Ella reached out to me again out of the blue.
Hello, Zelda. How are you doing? I couldn't stop myself. On a day like today, I felt compelled to contact you. Today is the first anniversary of your and David's marriage. Do you recall? I still look at your and David's wedding images every now and then. They never fail to put a grin on my face. You looked really stunning. And how pleased we were all that day. Huh? Zelda, it aches my heart to see you moving more and further away from us. So, what happened to us? We were on our way to being one big happy family.
Are you Mrs. Ella? You've got to be joking. You text me after a year to do what? Play victim? What is your problem? Please ignore me. I'm already tense because I'm not a fan of summer and it's above 100 degrees outdoors. In addition, I'm at work and very busy. Do you recall my pathetic job?
Oh, you haven't altered a jot. You still talk as if you want to rip someone's head off. Oh, how I had overlooked that. It's an honor. God knows women these days need some spunk. You have no idea what I had to go through after David and his father both blamed me for wrecking your marriage. They're not going to let me forget it.
Will you cry me a river? Look, I have to return to work. Goodbye.
Why don't you think about it for a while? I'm sure you'll find it in your heart to reconcile with David, don't you? You two were head over heels in love. For more than 2 years. You can't pretend that didn't happen because of an old lady's ramblings. You see, David hasn't forgotten you yet, Zelda. He no longer speaks to me because he is still upset with me. He claims you were the best thing to ever happen to him and that I ruined everything. Will you at the very least consider it? Consider it carefully.
The answer is no. I've already started dating someone else. If you're curious, his name is Leon, and I met him while on another business trip for my boring work. Of course, he is well aware of my unsuccessful first marriage. He still adores me.
You're ready to start a new serious relationship? So quickly? What do I know? I didn't think you were a tramp. To say the least, that's rather astounding. It's just been a year since you ended your relationship with my David. How did you find someone so quickly? Did you use Tinder?
That is completely absurd. Not to say there's anything wrong with Tinder, but I didn't use it. After a man-child like David, did you expect me to become a nun or something? Ella, if I were to compare you to an animal, you'd be donkeys, and my fiancé Leon and his family would be diamond unicorns. Leon's parents are incredibly wealthy, and they behave accordingly. Leon was even taken to etiquette school as a child. My future in-laws are the epitome of elegance. But you wouldn't know anything about it.
You are a silly woman. Do you think they'll be any different? How do you know they won't abandon their niceness as soon as you say I do? I'm not in the minority. My mother-in-law was also pretty strict. That's just the way things are.
I know this because I've witnessed how servers are treated in restaurants. I'm talking about 4 or 5-star restaurants here. Oh, and did I mention they bought and taught me in a 4,000 square foot lakeside house? Of course, under both our names. Besides, they already have a butler on payroll, so they won't need a daughter-in-law to do their bidding. Anyway, like I already stated, I need to get back to work. Don't ever call or text me again. Goodbye. Fortunately, Ella and the rest of Ella's family received the message loud and clear and never attempted to contact me again. I was finally able to spend my actual honeymoon with the love of my life, Leon. Italy is a really lovely country with fantastic food, music, and people. Leon's parents and sister had decorated our new house with garlands and balloons to welcome us into the family after we returned from our magical 10-day honeymoon. I wished I could have invited them all around for a small supper, but they were too preoccupied with their own lives, traveling and golfing. Leon's wonderful parents also respect our privacy and only bother us with unnecessary family gatherings around the holidays. Although I like my new in-laws as if they were my own parents, I wouldn't mind seeing them more frequently. I've finally discovered a place where I fit in. It's with Leon and Mina, our recently adopted cat. Oh, and I'm 9 weeks pregnant, which is a closely guarded secret. I'm looking forward to a future filled of optimism and wonder like never before. If this child is a boy, I promise him and myself that I will never, ever be a bad mother-in-law to his future wife.